Hello everybody, my name is Kenneth and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be checking out the new Stray Kids music video, their new Japanese release, Hollow. I've been very good at avoiding spoilers for this song, so going into this I know nothing apart from obviously the title. I'm actually surprised I was able to get to this so quickly because we are currently having a heat wave in the UK. Um, so I'm recording this in a little bit of a temperature lull. So praying that that lasts for a little bit longer. Usual spiel, pause warning. I am a pauser. If that's not for you, that's totally okay. You can watch the music video, you can support the song on streaming services, and I recommend that you probably should be doing that anyway, as well as if you want to watch my reaction. If I'm not for you, that's totally okay. But if you're interested in my reaction, let's get into this right now. Um, yeah, let's go. Sorry, it didn't start. Ooh, I like that texture over the piano there. I'm sorry, that made me jump. The complete change in the dynamics of that piano there. Sorry. Start again. Um, the reflection here is beautiful, by the way, the shadowing. Um, I don't know if it's meant to be a reference to the Titanic, but you've got that side angle and the almost like the in front of kind of angle, POV angle with the shadow here on the right. Um, but he's by himself. So it feels like a twist on that because obviously in Titanic that's quite a happy moment between Jack and Rose. If it's not that, then ignore that. But that's just what it feels like. Feels like a subversion of that. I'm ready this time. Ooh. Okay, first thoughts on this. Hi, Hyunjin. I like how you've got like a little solo moment. I'm going back. Um, already, this song feels very Han coded. Um, just the sonics of this specific part here give me Han vibes. Um, just from previous solo songs that he's done. Um, so it feels like it's more his influence, perhaps. Oh, hi, Sungmin. It's interesting that they're all um, strapped up. Is that the word? Aw. I'm smiling because Felix looked really cute there. So far, lyrically, this is feeling very almost like Sociopath Part 2. Um, it's giving because in Sociopath you had this kind of like, oh, I worked really I worked really hard. I gave up all of kind of my life experiences, my life to get here. And now we've got this kind of here specifically this lyric about somehow I still can't be satisfied. Um, um, there's a lyric here, I've just kept running forward without paying it any attention. So it's that kind of almost like one track mind, tunnel vision towards my goal. But there feels like there's a sadness to it, like it wasn't. It feels like it almost like a cruel version of destiny, where it was destined to happen, but it wasn't. Um, almost like it wasn't their choice, or that they, there's something pushing them. I don't know. Well, I like that hand choreo. It's very interesting. Sorry, I'm pausing again already. We've seen a lot of these orbs already now. I've saw like at least four, I think, on that screen. And then we saw in the intro there's like a hand sign with like a light orb in there. Um, I was gonna say, I wonder um, if that represents the moon, um, or if or something else. 'Cause it's just obviously circle, it's a moon. But just the way that it was kind of lit, maybe it looked like kind of like a moon. It's interesting that we've paired the accompaniment back. Beautiful. Ooh. So yeah, here it's feeling like they've given all this to get to where they are, but they still want more. Like there's a real feel, almost a feeling of disappointment, like we got here, but you know, I'm still hungry for more. There's obviously a more positive spin you could take on it, of like and obviously Stray Kids have said in like interviews and stuff like that that they're always working to improve themselves and to get better at their crafts and things like that. You could look at it that way, but I feel like with a song like Hollow, as well as kind of the song title called Hollow, and then the lyrics, it's hard to lean towards that. It's interesting we've gone from Seungmin to Lino here, just because obviously with Dominate, they mixtape Dominate, they with their duet, it's interesting. Oh, the way Hyunjin's voice texture there matched it had a kind of grit to it that matched that piano there. Before we, because I'm assuming we're gonna get to the chorus here, the way that they're kind of lined up here, accepting an award, accepting this, that, and the other. The person giving out the award is faceless. They don't matter. It's, it could be any awards. It could be any kind of thing like that. There's a monotony to it. I wonder as well if there's maybe kind of like a slight reference maybe to kind of their life trajectory and the kind of maybe the um, enlistment process, maybe. Obviously, we haven't heard anything about that, and we probably won't for a little bit. But there's maybe that aspect of, again, with that lyric from IN earlier about being drawn to a place. Obviously, I'm not saying that word for word, but about being drawn to a place that could be something like that. Obviously, as well, awards are meant to be celebrations of a person. Lino's face looks quite stoic, quite almost numb to the accolade. And here we've got the orb again. Got the orb again. Ooh, interesting. Okay, I want to talk about that because yeah, this definitely feels like I was almost gonna say a hollow part two there, a social path part two there. Um, it's almost like we've gotten to the part here, where Han says, "I embrace everything and run." Um, it feels like um, there's a willingness to try the experiences that maybe the group were denied or were not able to engage in, during their trainee program and stuff like that. The experiences they had to give up for that. But the idea of I embrace everything and run, there's a sense of never settling down, never being allowed to stop, never being allowed to slow down. When you see it like how Stray Kids, like they album tour, album tour, all of this stuff in their real life, there isn't really a downtime between, because even then when you've got the space between those things, you might have an ambassador campaign for, whichever fashion line that you're an ambassador for as the member, or if you're doing soundtrack work, or if you're doing something else for someone else, or some behind the scenes that we don't see, the amount of downtime you get, it's not really there, and so it's almost like here Han is saying, like, we get all this good stuff, but I don't get to feel it, so it's not really forming an experience in my mind and my heart. And people say like experience makes it builds character. um you also have this lyric here of loneliness haunts me no matter where I am. I'm alone. um Again, if given how this song sounds, I feel like this is going to be a heavily Han written song. Han often Changbin too, but just because of the sonics of the song, it feels like he's delving into his experience, perhaps more, maybe more. Um, and here again, the kind of the sociopath part two, it's almost like even if he's getting these moments, or they're getting these moments, sorry, I'm saying him because Han is currently the one on screen in the middle. Even if they're getting these moments, because they're so fleeting and they're not really allowed to enjoy them, there's no sense of settling down, there's no sense of groundedness that could maybe reassure, maybe. Just trying to look at the choreo there. Ooh. I feel like the beats become like really clubby. Ooh, that's interesting. We went from Chan into Hyunjin there. And that really works. Yeah, we've got those orbs again. See, like this, for instance. Oh, look at Seungmin's smile. Sorry. Like this, we've got another kind of scene of like accolades, acknowledgement, and it's such a different image than here. We've got very heavy eyes, the dark makeup, the kind of even the like the kind of the stare, like Felix, especially because this isn't a great frame. But there's a solemnness, like even from like the color scheme, it's very muted in the colors, and then you come here and there's shimmering rainbows in the visuals, the obvious happiness there. And again, it's that you could look at it in one way of like kind of being like appreciation of the fans kind of thing, being able to see that. But given the kind of way that this has been going, the song's been kind of talking to us, it almost feels like they're trying to enjoy it as much as they can in what's feels like presumably a small moment.
最近の気分はシャープよりフラットこだわり気づいたキャリアのステックホロフェインまだ先遠くてシャイニースターその裏は all in black
Sorry, I'm going back because I feel like we haven't seen enough of Changbin this music video. But this lyric here, I saw it immediately because I saw the symbol for the flat. This rap is so self-reflective, and it's so self-reflective in such a negative way. So the idea of being flat rather than sharp, to me, especially with I saw a lyric about being in the Hall of Fame, or not being in the Hall of Fame there, but this here, the idea that he's lately been feeling flat rather than sharp. When you're sharp, it means you've gone too high above the note that you're going for, whereas being flat means you haven't gotten to the note that you're. So it's almost like he's giving his all to get to this Hall of Fame. And I'm sure there's other things I missed, but that was just that they're watching there. But he doesn't feel like he's hitting it. He feels like he's just coming up short, and that's so sad. I also saw a lyric about a shining star, but I want to go through back and listen. Yeah. That idea of a star turning black, something beautiful that loses its shape and identity and is just nothing, almost like you could even maybe say like coal. The orbs, I'm assuming, that are referring to stars, you know, that same iconography. I just want to go back to this lyric here. With my style, I've built my career in a stack. It almost feels like he's talking about building himself up over time. But equally, that has a suggestion of negativeness, because obviously you can knock over a stack. You know, you can fall through a stack. You can. It feels very temperamental almost. Despite that, that work, and almost as well with the lyric again about being flat rather than sharp. It's almost like if you're aiming for here and you're hitting here, each time you kind of raise your game, you're building yourself up like that. And so to maybe an outside perspective, you are just getting better and better and better. But to you, if you're constantly going, I should be here, but I'm here, each time you do that, you're never catching up on that. And that is really, really sad. I love the little floral elements they have on their outfits. That repetitive cycle of looking for the negative, looking for or noticing the negative, you know, Stray Kids, you know, we joke about it like, oh my god, they're online, you know, but they probably are online. They probably, you know, in their own time, they probably are looking at things, and they do probably see when someone makes a comment about this or about that or the other. When I saw, for instance, like earlier, Seungmin, when he was smiling so big, I adore Seungmin's smile so much, and I know for a period of time there was a period of time where he wasn't smiling, and with this kind of lyric point being made, I wouldn't be surprised if he or someone else had been looking online and they'd seen the comment, seen a comment or seen something rude or, you know, something like that, which is not the majority view of the fandom, you know, or even outside of the fandom to someone who doesn't know Stray Kids. But we focus on negative things, you know. It's that kind of 50 good comments, one bad comment, 100, you know, we often focus on that. that lyric here about feeling deflated, but everything being painful. I don't know what necessarily we're referring to here about everything is painful. I don't know if it's this, if they're saying, because obviously everything is everything, but I don't know if they're saying that even their kind of idle life is painful, if that makes sense, or if they mean something else. If anyone has any theories, by the way, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to talk. Also, that's a beautiful shot of Felix and Changbin before that, but obviously right now, Felix and Changbin. But obviously right now we really see Felix, but they both look beautiful. 無駄繰り返していないか気が抜けたよって全てが辛くて誰か思い出して乾き癒して Wait, is that ice? Oh no. So they're putting, it's almost like, I guess, the orbs are the reflection of their work then, because they're all putting in different not different amounts, but different orbs and stuff. Or am I misunderstanding? I love that contrast between Seungmin's voice there. I think that was Seungmin. Yeah. Yeah, I love the way that we went from Seungmin's voice there to Felix, and we almost had like a transitionary Felix voice there, where he it sounded like he harmonized with himself, with a lower and high harmony, in kind of in order to make that transition to a lower tone. I like that. Oh, that was interesting. Sorry, I know I'm pausing a lot. So it looks like Chan here is reaching, I think that's Chan, looks like Chan, is reaching into this puddle, but this puddle looks like the same puddle from S-Class. So again, when you think about like S-Class being kind of the top of your game, the very best, to Hollow, it's kind of got that very negative, low opinion of yourself or feeling of yourself. It's an interesting callback if that's what it is. There's a difference to that. Sounds like Han. There's a difference to Han's voice there, where it almost like sounds like he's approaching vocals differently there. I don't know if there's like another member or other members blended into his voice there, but his tone almost felt subdued there, which lyrically kind of makes sense, you know, following the no words are never enough, I'm begging you please, but it's almost like that kind of that emptiness. But it's interesting there. Is it Han? There's some accenting in there that suggests maybe Chan's voice is blended in there. But it definitely sounds like there's Han in there. Let me know. Ooh, that, ooh. 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 Is it because the more alone I am, the more I need love? That lyric with that image of Lino pulling the orb from Han's chest there, that it's almost suggests there's layers to that, but it's this, it's almost this, you know, when he talked about embracing and running earlier, it's almost like that's the perfect representation of that fleeting moment. Like he has only a few seconds, or the members only have a few seconds to take that that adoration, take that love, and kind of run with it before almost maybe like it's closed off from them. But that visual there of him of Lino reaching in, especially because he's holding his there he's holding like a almost like a vase, or a vase, or like a bucket of something. It's almost like his bucket isn't enough. You know, if you think of like the bucket as kind of the representation of all of the stuff, all of his accomplishments, all of what makes him him. It's almost like that's not enough, and I still need, you know, the heart. That's beautiful though. That's really, really, there's a real unsettlingness of seeing John in the corner having an arguably good time, question mark. And then oh, Han is oh I'm sorry, Hyunjin, to interrupt you. The way that like you've almost got these other tableau kind of style mini scenes within the overall scene, and they're completely ignoring they're completely ignoring and I'm not saying like intentionally ignoring like in a real life situation, but they're almost ignoring what's happening to Han. This definitely, I said it from the Sonics from the beginning, this feels like a very Han-led song. Please let me know if I'm right, if I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong if I'm wrong. But this feels like a very Han-led song. And so this feels like an experience that he's had, not necessarily with the other members, but just in life generally, where he's had this faltering moment where he's maybe lost, you know, even maybe when he took his hiatus a few years ago, where maybe he felt ignored, like maybe he felt like his heart was ripped out, and his physicalness was fading, because I feel like that's a big thing of he's there and we can see him, but he is, you know, to quote the title, so hollow that nobody seems to notice when he falls. And that contrast between his outfit, you know, it's black and white, but when he falls on the white smoke there, oh, this is beautiful. He just, yeah, oh. Ooh, I want to see that little sequence. I love that little spin. Sorry, I'm obsessed with that spin. I love that we've got this I don't know what to call it. We've got these different scenarios where we have a heart without a name, a night without a light, a moon. I don't know what you call that technically, but I like that we've got that. Those different scenes described without almost described with that almost the biggest feature of that different thing. To kind of show the hollowness. I love the direction of this though. And Hyunjin's voice. I feel like I need to go back. I know this video is already really long and I'm sorry about that. I'm also not sorry about that. This is a reaction, I guess. As I said, if you want the original content, is here. I feel like I need more time with Hyunjin here. It's interesting that we start here on the ground. It suggests a cyclical journey of he falls, he gets back up, he falls, he gets back up. I have more thoughts. So it seems like, and I'm basing this on how it looks. So in a lot of cultures, the moon is a god, has a soul, a persona, or is an entity. And so almost here we have Hyunjin, and it feels like he is the physical representation of that soul. I'm not going to say God because I don't want to unintentionally offend any cultures or anything like that, but the soul of the moon. And there's been a fall. You know, you could argue, oh, he fell off of this contraption, but no, it feels like he fell from the moon and then is trying to get back to it. And it's this cyclical thing of he's really struggling to get back to it. He keeps falling. And I think with the kind of the detachment of the orb from himself, it's almost like he's losing more of himself the more he falls, maybe. It's a very interesting decision to, I think, for to display kind of a loss of self in this way. Yeah, there, see with the orb, it's like it's, yeah. Ooh. Oh. Sorry, I'm trying to. Oh. He's been constricted by his own parachute. Oh, that's really. Not only has he fallen, but it's like he's almost like he's taken precautions because he knew he was gonna fall. And then it's like it looks like the parachute didn't even go, you know, it wasn't there for him. Oh. Can I just say though, Ian's eyes are very piercing, even when he's in this struggling state. Oh, that he gets cut on the glass. Oh. Love the choreo. Ooh, we have more. We have more apparently. I just want to say, like, because I have obviously I noticed earlier with the Lino tier scene, it's really they're really striking images. But I think what's even more striking about this image here, if you take this almost as kind of a continuation of the Hyunjin moon story, it's almost like here there's an acceptance that they'll never get back to the moon, like to their spirit and their soul will never merge again, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's what the intention is, but that's what it feels like. I'm curious what's left. I'm scared. Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? Does that mean, because you could take that as a as a multitude of things. Like you could take that as he's found his happiness. You could take that as he's found his heart. You know, you how do I take that? How did you guys take that? How did you guys take that? Because I feel like that's such a an ambiguous ending. Because it could be a positive kind of I found myself, or it could be another kind of, because as well you could kind of almost see this as the I embrace it but don't run, which is a complete 180 from the lyric. Um, but then he's the way that Felix looks at the camera there, it's still almost like a is it okay if I take this, or is it okay if I celebrate this, or that kind of feeling to me. Um, that's kind of what did you guys take from that? I'm really sorry that this is so long of a video. I am not gonna watch it again on screen because I think I think I spent enough time going through as we were going through. I I genuinely I'm I'm kind of not lost for words because obviously I've been yapping a lot. I'm taken aback that we're um, able to still able to the members are still able to there it feels like there's still a haunting of their past. It feels like that is reflected in this current kind of era, if you like, specifically obviously in this song, um, and that's not a bad thing. It just if I it just my heart goes out to them. Again, if it's a Han led writing kind of song, my heart goes out to him a lot. Um, because I think it's probably going to be a three ratchet deal, as usual with kind of the writing duties. I loved the simplicity of the music video. Like you had your set pieces, but like they were to me they were very very simplistic in kind of how they wanted to structure this. I loved the outfits. I loved the song. Um, um, I like the use of the almost not the drop, but the kind of that little that hello 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 that part. Probably getting the notes wrong. It's fine. Um, it kind of allows a little bit of a break from the lyrics. It's almost like a um, I hate to say palate cleanser, but it allows you to kind of resituate yourself before kind of the next almost barrage of lyrics. Um, I loved the way that we had space for all of the members, though I feel like I said this during Changbin's part, but I feel like I wanted a little bit more Changbin um, in there. I loved the way that when each member did the choruses, they did them in their own unique way. I feel like this is one of the best songs I feel of that one of the best songs that has really supported and felt like a really good Lino song. Um, he stood out to me a lot throughout this. Um, just as I was watching, I just um, I don't know, it just felt like I don't know, I just felt like he felt quite at home um in the kind of the style of the song and things like that. Which was really nice. Yeah, breathtaking visuals, um, both from the members themselves as well as the cinematography. But again, just that shot of Lino taking out um Hans. Oops, sorry, I hit my mic there. Hans' heart there. Um, I feel like the fact that they chose um Lino to do that makes that moment even more heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, because I feel like while all the members are close, they have a friendship and a relationship together that is so close that it's almost like in this music video, almost like a betrayal of that friendship, of that trust. Obviously, I'm not saying it is, but just in that, it works to make that even much more of a like a real gut punch, real oh. Um, um, I loved that. I loved it. As I said, please answer any of my comments, my questions in the comments below. Um, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Um, I'm looking forward to the rest of the tracks from I'm assuming we're getting a Japanese album. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave any comments in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone. Bye.